Welcome, millionaires, billionaires, and future trillionaires. As always, I am to bring you truth, knowledge, and wisdom to assist you in your journey to crypto. So, guys, this will be one of the most important videos you ever watch, and I'm going to compact it into less than 10 minutes so you understand it, so there's not much information you need to process it. So, this is going to be and is currently one of your biggest enemies because it's the only enemy you have at the current moment, and it's the only enemy you will ever have until you cease to exist in this physical world. So that enemy, guys, like I mentioned before, you control your reality, you control your life. Everything you do is your choice. You had choices, and depending on the choice we had many decisions. We had many choices, and the decisions you made based on those choices uh, carved the path to the life you are experiencing now. So uh, each choices leads to a different path to an experience of this physical world. And in this physical world, your greatest enemy, and it's the only enemy you have, and it's the only enemy you will ever have, is your ego, guys. If you can maintain your ego and keep it under control, everyone has an ego. It's part of you as a human, but it all depends, and it also varies how big your ego is or how little your ego is. That will determine how you react to your world, how you live your life, how you respond to people, how you react to certain situations. So the lower your ego is, which is the goal, is not just to lower the ego, but to tame your ego and keep it under control. So as you are living your life, you are seeing things, tasting things, smelling things, experiencing things. Most of the time, you're not really present because it's your ego that's experiencing it, and most of the time the ego is controlling your life. So the ego is in control. You are just in the passenger side watching your life being lived. If you don't control your ego or keep it under control or maintain it, and the reason why it's the biggest enemy you have, and it's the only enemy you will have, is because um, ego is the only thing that causes conflict or fight with anyone. So this is how you can easily diffuse any fight. And most of the wars and battles are won before they are even fought. So that's the main goal, is to continue to win your battles before you even fight them. So you don't have to fight your battles, but you already win them. So for example, I can give you an example. Let's say if I'm walking down the street and I bumped into a guy, and the guy may feel a certain way, and his ego may be hurt. So within that time frame, it's the ego that's going to be reacting. The guy is not present. If the guy was present, he would be aware of the situation. He would understand that it might have been a mistake, me bumping into him, or it could be any other thing. This is how most fight starts, is because two egos are colliding with each other. So if you can control your ego, you can control the situation you're in, any situation you're in, and you can always um, determine the solution, the final result of that situation. Because if you are aware of the person's ego, you also are aware of your ego. Realize it's the only thing that causes conflict. Lower your ego and control it. Maintain the situation, but that's probably for another video, how I explain how to control your ego and maintain it. So you control your life, you control every situation you're in, and this is how you can also control people as well. So we'll go back to the story, to me bumping into the guy on the street. So the guy might feel offended. It's not him that's feeling offended, it's the ego. And most of the times the ego always wants to be better than the next person, and this is what causes reality to fall into confusion, where people lose sight of who they are. They don't understand themselves, they don't know themselves. And this is the reason why, Okay, let's not get too deep here because this is the reason why the videos don't get posted, recommended, and get pushed out because they get shadow banned and a little bit censored. So let's not get too deep here. So that's it's the only enemy that you have, which is the ego. If you can control the ego, then you have no more enemies. You know, other enemy you have is your mind. So you can control anything you want with your mind. So if you know you're in control, then the only enemy you have is the ego, because it's the ego that wants to be better than the next person. So if it doesn't seem like it's better than the next person, or if it feels like the other person is doing better than them, then they start to feel a certain way. So then when you start to control your ego, you realize um, you are experiencing this world. Not the ego is not supposed to. The ego is there for your survival. It's needed for you to survive in certain situations, like fight or flight. But when you are living and experiencing life, you should be leaving the ego in the background as protection, but be aware that it's there. But you yourself are always present and responding to situations, uh, and responding to people, actions, behaviors, uh, and then you gain control. So you are in control, and any enemy you have, you can make them a friend by reducing and lowering your ego as well. So the whole purpose of life is to lose the ego, not to lose the ego, but to control the ego, maintain the control of the ego. So you are experiencing life, and you are not in the passenger side of the life. So that's going to be moving forward your greatest enemy, and it now is your only enemy that you have. Because if you can control the ego, you keep it under control, you maintain it, then you control every situation that you're in. So if you're new and passing through, guys, you can join the community. The link to the Telegram is in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.